Ex-husband shames ex-wife at the reunion until her billionaire husband walks in. The 20-year high school reunion was buzzing with laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses. Old friends exchanged stories, some bragging about careers, others showing off wedding photos. But for Emily, the evening started with dread. She knew her ex-husband, Mark, would be there. Mark had always been the loudest in the room, boasting about his supposed success, belittling anyone who didn't meet his standards. When their marriage ended, he had spread lies about her, that she was too boring, too plain, and that she'd never find anyone better. Emily, calm and graceful, walked into the hall, wearing a simple but elegant dress. She had no intention of making a scene, but as soon as Mark spotted her, his booming voice carried across the crowd. "Well, look who it is," he jeered, smirking. His old classmates turned. "Emily, still working that little desk job? Or are you finally living off cats and wine like you always feared?" Laughter rippled uncomfortably among the group. Emily smiled politely, refusing to give him the satisfaction of a reaction. Mark strutted closer, his arrogance thick. "You know, everyone thought you'd end up a star. Guess I was right when I said you'd never make it far without me." The words stung, but Emily simply sipped her water. What Mark didn't know was that her life had changed in ways he could never imagine. Just then, the ballroom doors opened. Heads turned as a tall, impeccably dressed man walked in. Jonathan Hale, one of the most influential billionaires in the city. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Is that really him? What's he doing here?" Jonathan's eyes immediately found Emily. His face softened, and with effortless confidence, he strode across the room, ignoring the stares. He slipped an arm around her waist, kissed her cheek, and said warmly, "Sorry, I'm late, love. Traffic was brutal." The entire hall went silent. Emily's classmates exchanged shocked glances, and Mark's smirk faltered. "Wait, love," he muttered. Jonathan extended his hand to Mark with a polite but firm smile. "Jonathan Hale, Emily's husband. And you are?" Mark's face turned pale. I'm Mark, her ex." Jonathan's expression sharpened ever so slightly. "Ah, the man who didn't realize what he had. Thank you for letting her go. Best decision you ever made." Gasps erupted from the crowd, followed by suppressed laughter. Mark's bravado crumbled, and for the first time in his life, he was speechless. Emily finally looked him in the eye and said, softly but powerfully, "Good to see you, Mark. I hope you find happiness someday." With that, she let Jonathan lead her away, leaving her ex-husband standing, frozen, humiliated, not by her words, but by the life she had built without him. That night, the only story anyone remembered from the reunion was how Emily once mocked and underestimated, walked out with the kind of levand respect that no amount of arrogance could ever buy. The high school reunion had been on everyone's lips for months. A grand ballroom downtown, glittering chandeliers, a live jazz band. The organizers had spared no expense. Emily almost skipped it. She wasn't the type to linger in the past, but something in her wanted closure. She stood in front of the mirror before leaving, smoothing down the elegant navy dress Jonathan had insisted she buy. "You'll look stunning, no matter what," he had told her. He couldn't attend right away. Business had kept him late, but he promised he would meet her there when she arrived. Heads turned. Emily had aged gracefully. Her presence was calm, magnetic, but she knew who else was in the room. Emily. A familiar, booming voice cut through the chatter. It was Mark, her ex-husband, looked almost the same. Loud suit, slicked back hair, that same self-satisfied smirk. He swaggered toward her with two friends in tow, ready to perform. Well, look at you," Mark said, his voice dripping sarcasm. "Didn't think you'd actually show up. Last I heard, you were still at that little desk job. What was it, assistant something?" Emily smiled faintly. "It's nice to see you too, Mark." "Oh, come on," he pushed, waving a hand. "Don't act shy." Everyone here knows I called it years ago. I said, you'd never get far without me. Guess I was right. A ripple of awkward laughter moved through the nearby crowd. Emily held her composure. She'd endured years of this belittling before she left him. Mark leaned in, his voice loud enough for others to hear. So, tell us anyone special in your life. Or is it just you and your cats now? The classmates around them chuckled nervously. Some looked away, embarrassed for Emily. She simply lifted her glass, took a slow sip, and said, actually, yes. Someone very special. Oh, really? Mark laughed. And where's Prince Charming tonight? Don't tell me he's imaginary. The ballroom doors opened just then. A hush fell as a tall figure entered, broad-shouldered, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit. His presence commanded the room instantly. Conversations faltered. Jonathan Hale. The name rippled through the crowd like a current. People recognized him from news articles, business magazines, and charity galas. Mark's laughter died in his throat as Jonathan's eyes found Emily's. His expression softened, and he strode across the room without hesitation. When he reached her, he kissed her cheek and rested an arm around her waist. Sorry I'm late, love, Jonathan said warmly. Traffic was a nightmare. Emily smiled, her eyes glowing. You're here. That's all that matters. The room was silent. Then, Jonathan turned to Mark. And you are? Mark stammered. I am Mark. Her ex? Ah, Jonathan said, his polite smile edged with steel. The man who didn't realize what he had. Thank you for letting her go. Best decision you ever made. Gasps spread across the ballroom. Some tried to hide laughter behind their glasses. Mark's face turned crimson. Emily stepped in, her voice calm but resolute. Good to see you, Mark. I hope you've found happiness. And with that, she turned away, letting Jonathan guide her toward the dance floor. Heads followed them. Whispers filled the air. Emily wasn't just the girl Mark once mocked. She was a woman cherished by a man the world respected. Mark, meanwhile, stood rooted in place, his ego crushed, not by Emily's words, but by the undeniable truth of what she had become without him. That night, the only story anyone remembered from the reunion wasn't Mark's bragging, it was how Emily had walked in with quiet grace and walked out in the arms of a man who treated her like treasure.